And welcome back. It's Jason Walter here, and here's your latest Florida housing market update. Because home prices were flat compared to 1 year ago, almost getting into negative territory regarding home prices in the state of Florida. Also, it's taking nearly 4 times longer to sell a house in Florida compared to the same time frame 1 year ago. This is based on a brand new report from the Realtors Association in Florida, and in today's video, I'm going to share all the details. The Realtors Association in Florida actually just announced April's numbers today, which is actually May 18th. So in today's video, I'm going to share updates regarding closed home sales, home prices, pending home sales, housing inventory, and of course, price reductions and much, much more. Having said that, if you guys are looking for a real estate agent referral in Florida or for any other part of the whole United States, then check out that link below, which is homeandmoney.com/Jason to get started today. And with that said, let's begin today's video talking about closed home sales first, because this is the number of sales transactions that closed in April, down 17.2%. Approximately 23,000 closed home sales in the state of Florida for the month of April. And by the way, this video is only looking at single family houses only. So of course, excluding multifamily and also brand new home construction numbers as well. So closed home sales for single family houses decreased by 17% from April 2022. Here's what I really like what they share. I wish this graphic was a little bit easier to read. But we actually can look at pre-pandemic levels to kind of gauge if 23,000 closed home sales is normal pre-COVID. So back in April of 2019, there was actually approximately 27,000 closed home sales. Now there's 23,000. So slightly below last year's levels and also below pre-pandemic levels as well. In regards to percentage of cash sales, that represented about 29.2% of all transactions. So approximately 3 of every 10 closed home sales this April came from a cash buyer. However, though, that's down compared to April 2022, down by 15.6%. Also, as a note right here, this is actually the lowest share of cash sales since last October at 29%. Last October, it was 28.4%. However, though, it's still slightly higher compared to pre-pandemic levels because at 29.2%, looking at April of 2019, the share was approximately 25%. So in other words, even though the percentage of cash sales actually went down by 15.6% year over year, it's still higher compared to pre-pandemic levels. Okay, let's talk about home prices in the state of Florida as a whole. So for this April, the median sold price was $410,000. This is down just a little bit from the peak at $420,000 that we saw back in June and May last year. This means the median sold price in Florida is down approximately 2.4% from last year's highs. One last thing I do want to mention regarding prices in Florida is that it's quite remarkable to see prices flat compared to April 2022, because back in April 2022 compared to April 2021, there's a gain of 21.8%. And we actually saw double-digit increases year over year through October 2022. All right, let's change gears slightly here and talk about the median percent of original list price received. That's a mouthful, so let me explain. So for this April, that percentage was 96.3%, meaning houses on average were selling for about 3% below the seller's original asking price. To be exact, selling for about 3.3% below the seller's original asking price. So on average, houses selling for about 3.3% below the seller's original asking price. Now, even though this percentage here has been increasing for 3 consecutive months, it's still well below last year's levels, because back in April last year, houses on average were selling for the original asking price. So not only are houses selling for below the seller's asking price on average, but it's also taking nearly 4 times longer to find a buyer, because the median days in the market was 31 days, a giant increase of 287.5%. 1 year ago, it was only 8 days. And this, by the way, is the time period when you list your house for sale until when you accept an offer from home buyer. That's days in the market, 31 days this April. Last April, it was only 8 days. Now, here's where it gets really interesting though, because even though it's taking nearly 4 times longer to sell a house compared to 12 months ago, they're still selling faster compared to April of 2019. Back then, days in the market was actually just over 40 days. Now it's only 31 days. What this is really telling me is really how fast houses were selling back in 2021 and also for the first half of 2022. I mean, starting in March 2021, days in the market was around 10, and it was around that same level all the way until we hit July and June of 2022. And that, of course, is very, very fast when looking at 2019, where it appears that back in 2019, the average days in the market was around 40 days. All right, let's change gears again and talk about new pending home sales. These are new contracts being signed for existing houses between buyers and sellers. So for April, there was approximately 27,000 new pending home sales. That's a decrease of 7.6%. So even though it's down compared to 1 year ago, this decrease of 7.6% is actually the smallest decrease in at least the last 12 months. So for example, back in October 2022, there was a giant decrease of 41.2% compared to October 2021. Now the decrease is only down by 7.6%. When looking at this chart below right here though, for 2019, back at the same time frame in 2019, there was around 30,000 new pending home sales, which of course is far higher than the 26,696 this April. In regards to new listings fell by 20.2%, the biggest decline in at least the last 12 months, a decrease of 20.2%. Approximately 27,000 new listings, which is a giant decrease compared to 2022. But look at this, because back in April 2019, there was over 30,000 new listings, which of course is much higher than the 27,000 we saw this April. This, of course, is because a lot of people do not want to give up their historically low rates, especially given the fact that rates as of today, which is actually May 18th, average 30-year fixed rates, according to the Mortgage News Daily, is at 6.8%. Back in 2020, 2021, average rates were 3%. So having said that, let's have a look at housing inventory in Florida, because they saw a giant increase of 80.2% from 1 year ago. Now, having said that, though, this is actually the smallest increase going back to September last year, when at that time we saw a 75% increase. Additionally, as a note right here, housing inventory, or the number of houses for sale in Florida, have now decreased for 4 consecutive months. Also, check this out, because this is also something on a national level we're seeing as well. We're seeing more inventory levels, or more houses for sale, compared to 2021 and 2022 on a national level. However, though, compared to pre-pandemic levels, back in this case, April 2019, we still have far fewer houses for sale. Back then, there's approximately 95,000 houses for sale, and by my dumb math, that's a decrease of 39%. So we have about 40% fewer houses for sale compared to 2019's levels. However, a giant increase of 80% compared to 12 months ago. Meanwhile, the month supply is sitting at a 2.6 month supply. This means at 2.6 months, all houses listed for sale right now, assuming no more new listings, will be sold in 2.6 months. So all the houses for sale right now would sell in 2.6 months if we had no additional supply hitting the market. But that's a giant increase of 136.4%, when at that time, 12 months ago, the month supply was only 1.1 months. Also, just like housing inventory, even though we saw a giant increase compared to 2021 and 2022, we're still well below 2019's levels. Back in 2019 at this time, the month supply was around 4 months. Now it's at 2.6 months. There's a few more slides I want to share with you guys. This is closed home sales by sales price. The percent change in closed home sales for April by price range. So as you can see right here, every single price segment here or every single price range has a decrease by double digits on a year-over-year basis. The biggest decrease was actually for houses that sold for over $1 million. So that's closed home sales. Let's have a look at new listings by price range as well. Because for every single one of these price ranges, we're also seeing double-digit decreases on a year-over-year basis as well. Also interesting enough, when looking at inventory levels by price range, this is interesting as well because the biggest increase by price range was in the range of $300,000 to $400,000. These are the number of houses for sale by price range here. So for that price range, there's 12,440 houses for sale. That's a giant increase of 115%. And lastly, here's a look at distressed home sales or lack thereof, because foreclosures and REOs or real estate owned properties, which are more or less foreclosures sold by real estate agents on behalf of banks, was 120 for the entire state of Florida. And also for short sales, only 27 in the entire state for April, compared to traditional sales, just regular sales, 23,187. In any case, pretty wild to see we have 23,000 traditional home sales, yet we only have 120 foreclosures and 27 short sales total for the entire state of Florida for the month of April. With that said, check out that link below if you guys want a real estate agent referral. Also, thank you so much for watching today's video. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you on the next one.